You're listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast, where we discuss everything iRacing in a casual setting. Enjoy. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer, where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Tony Groves, David Flowers, and special guest Chris Perez. Hey guys.
Hello.
What's up, Mike?
Good evening.
Hey, welcome. Boy, we're right before season here. It's like everything's at a fever pitch. It's amazing how much stuff is going on right now in iRacing. So let's get right into it. Let's first meet Chris Perez, new guest today. Thanks for coming, Chris. Tell us how you got your start on iRacing and how did you hear about it?
I was watching a NASCAR race. I believe it was a Homestead race back in 2011. They pitched a promo to this. I think it was a Ray Alfala commercial that they said, he won $10,000. I was like, hey, I can do that. Now, 5 years, 6 years later, no, I can't.
Right. Yeah, it looks like you've been a member since 2012. So 6 years now, huh?
Yeah, 6 years. 1 year real hardcore. A couple years just kind of petered around.
Right. So these days, how often are you racing and what series do you normally run?
If I do run official, it's usually C fixed, B fixed. I mostly run league races with PRL, but that's about it.
All right, that's Precision Racing League, right? I run with them on Wednesdays.
Yes, yeah, Precision Racing League. We run a road truck series on Wednesday, and then we have our Xfinity Oval series on Sundays.
Yeah, it's been a good little league. I've run a few races in so far, and I've been pleased with it. All right, cool. Tell us about your hardware. What type of wheel and pedals do you have? How many monitors? That kind of thing.
I'm currently running a TS 500, the Thrustmaster 500 with the Thrustmaster T3 PA pedals, 4 Dell 20-inch monitors on a NVIDIA, Asus 1060.
All right, triples it is. All right. What do you do? Do you have like a what about your seat? Do you have like a cockpit? Or are you sitting at a desk or?
I went to the local hardware store, pieced together a $50 rig, and just threw everything together. Got a good deal on some seats and out of a Mustang, and that's what I use.
All right. It's amazing how many different types of configurations are out there of people building their own stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, a real nice rig is nice, but just, something custom made to use, just awesome. It's no other way around it.
All right, you mentioned a fourth monitor. What kind of third-party software are you using? What are you showing on that fourth monitor?
I run of course, the TeamSpeak server, but mostly when I run the league races and stuff, I'm running like sim racing apps so I can control stuff there, see what's going on, see where people are at. And every once in a while, I'll use Z1 when I'm trying to learn how to set up build.
Yep, Z1 dashboard. All right. And of course, we met because you're joining our team for the 24-hour race to take a stint in the car. Thank you for that. Do you have like a regular team that you run with? Are you a loner out there or what?
I'd like to get a PRL, a Precision Racing League team endurance race going, for every race. When we show up, everybody's like, oh no, not these guys again. It's been kind of hard hit and miss. You guys offered, asked for help, and we hadn't made commitments at the time, so I was like, sure, I'll help out.
All right. Well, yeah, it's like herding cats. David, you've been organizing our team. It's going pretty good. You kind of had some personnel challenges today.
Yeah, I had a little bit, but got it all straight. Found another driver to actually John LaBass spot for us. He's a Army vet. He's a military vet just like me, so not bad.
Good, good. All right, Chris, tell us about your most memorable iRacing moment.
It'd probably be when I won. I can't remember what season it was, but I won Division Three Advanced Mazda Championship. I placed 24th or 25th overall that season, and I set the eighth or ninth fastest lap at Daytona Short that season too.
Yeah, I was just looking
World
at your
record
stats
fastest
here.
lap.
Your stats are pretty stout on the road and dirt road side. Winning percentage on road overall 4.5%, which is pretty good. Top five, 37%. And your dirt road, 13% is your winning percentage. So how do you like in GRC?
I love it. I just wish I could find more time to run it.
Well, you're winning 13% of the time. That's pretty good.
I didn't even realize it was that high.
Yeah. Well, very good. Welcome to the podcast. We got a ton of topics, guys. Let's kind of get into it. First off, we'll talk about the big race tonight. We got the Road to Pro, Richmond. What do you guys think? I haven't even taken a lap. I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm going to probably be going into this race without practice.
You're not the only one, Mike. I've just been worried about getting everything ready for the 24, from practicing with Chris to getting a setup to making sure we got enough drivers.
Yeah, I've been kind of focused on that too. I think it's a higher priority than Road to Pro for me anyway. Tony, what do you got? You gonna run Richmond tonight?
No, I'm bailing out on tonight. I've been an absolute weapon over the last couple of weeks, and well, quite frankly, I just can't afford to take another rough hit. So I'm gonna take that time and just get some seat time practice and some of the tracks and stay away from the race tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Go ghost one of the upper splits and see what you can do. That's
Yeah.
always a challenge.
Last night, Tony, Chris Scales, and myself ran the A Open at Dover, 120 laps. Chris and I finished 12 and 13th, 5 and 8th laps down, and Tony unfortunately bit the bullet. And what were you, like 65 laps down, Tony?
Oh, yeah, at least. I mean, quite frankly, I had absolutely no business being out there. Even all the practice I did, and I was solid in the practice, but come race time, I was just terrible.
They threw a big wrench at it, or a big curveball at us. Practice was like 87 degrees. We hit the racetrack, it's 112 at Dover. No grip.
Was
Yep.
a lot of attrition, like a lot of people wrecking out, or what?
No, we got like a good 30, 40. We got good, two, like really long, like 30, 40, 50 lap runs. Like people were doing good. It's just me and Tony both spun. Um, I'd burned through my tires in like 35 laps. We had good competition, and it was a good race. I was sweating the whole time. But the biggest thing I noticed is just you got to be way easier on the throttle now than you used to be. The car just gets so upset if you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about running that with you guys. I obviously would have been in a different split, and the reason I didn't run it because it was open, and we don't have a set, and I'm just afraid in that split I would have been in, I would have been out to lunch, probably about a second a lap without a set. So I skipped it.
Well, wouldn't you know, 5 minutes before the race starts, our non-up stoner gave us a Dover set, and I'm like, I haven't practiced with this, and I tried it, and it was so loose coming off, I didn't have time to kind of fiddle with it to, get it to my liking. So we appreciate the donation. We just didn't have enough time for practice.
Oh, interesting. All right, well, let's get into topics. I'll take the first one here. Somebody posted in the forums about Daytona qualifying for the road race. seen a lot of people shave time by getting on the apron, coming down to the checkered flag or to the start finish line there. And Tyler Hudson piped in on this forum post, iRacing official, basically. If you do this and are protested for it, and the protest finds you guilty, you could see up to, but not limited to, a week suspension. This is not allowed. That is why there are cones there. So as we go into this 24 hours of Daytona, I want to remind people, when you're doing your qualifying and stuff, or even during the race, you don't need to be on that apron.
Yeah, I've never personally even thought about it. Like, I see the cones and everything down there. I just run the line like normal. I don't ever try to, oh, let me jump down here. Just never crossed my mind.
Well, in previous 24-hour races, before they put those cones down there, you could get a speed advantage and a time advantage on your competitors and stuff. And I'm thankful they put those cones there.
Yeah, because without the cones, Chris, it was like you could fade up onto the oval, but how long did you take to fade up onto the oval? You know, you might run down at the bottom for a while and then come up on the oval, and it's kind of a discretionary thing. But with the cones there, it really doesn't give you much choice unless you're going to run over the cone.
And then you possibility of pinning one of those underneath your car too, slow you down there too. So it's double penalty if you get down there.
Right. All right, Tony, what's next?
Oh, somebody found a tire barrier glitch in GRC at Phoenix. Apparently, this tire stack wasn't there visually, but it was actually there. So somebody posted up a video and kind of driving through where that barrier would be, not knowing anything about it. Guys behind them getting smacked by the invisible tire barrier and crashing out. But iRacing staff, Chris Widener, I believe his name is, posted up that they're aware of the bug and they're hoping to get it patched either later this week or early next.
Yeah, I ran Phoenix quite a bit. I don't think I experienced that, but the video is very telling. You know, you don't see it there, and he runs through it, and boom, you're wrecked. All right, next topic. Boy, Chili Bowl. And boy, is this a crossover between real racing and iRacing, if there ever was one. Because iRacing is the sponsor on the 2 star cars of the Chili Bowl, Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell. And boy, what a week, guys. Kyle Larson won on night 1, and that was pretty cool to see the iRacing colors in victory lane. In fact, Steve Myers posted a photo of on Twitter of victory lane, Kyle posing with iRacing employees Steve Reese and what's his name? Killinarelli, whatever his name is. What is his name? Kevin Ianarelli. Boy, I really butchered that. He's the associate producer at iRacing.com. Anyway, pretty cool to see them in victory lane with Cup star Kyle. So as the week progressed, the people winning the races were all involved with iRacing. Christopher Bell won one of the heat nights as well. One of our own our iRacers, Todd Bettenhausen, whose uncle is the famous Bettenhausen IndyCar driver. Anyway, he was at Chili Bowl and bought a Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell t-shirt. And he posted some really high-res photos on the forums of his new shirts. And boy, I took a look at those, and you blow them up, and these are nice quality shirts, guys. And I think I want one. He also posted some pictures of some simulators that were set up at Chili Bowl in the expo area, and they had several. It looks like several simulators with iRacing running that people could sit down and try. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, that looks like it. I like those type of rigs like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, iRacing's the best platform out there, and if people are getting to try it for free, that's definitely lucky because usually you gotta try, you gotta buy it to try it.
All right, and then the same people that make the T-shirts also announced a new product alert. They're producing posters of Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson's iRacing midget, and boy, the posters look good, guys, and they're big. They're like 24 by 36. Look pretty good in a frame, I bet. Really neat colors, obviously red, white, and blue. And
Those
then,
are pretty nice.
yeah. Well, and then the race came Saturday night, the final premiere event. I actually watched it via Facebook Live. I found some feed on Facebook right as they were going into the feature race and popped it up on the big screen, cracked a beer, and sat back and watched the Chili Bowl. This is the first time I've actually watched it live, and certainly had a great time watching that race. I can't believe how good the racing is, especially there at the end. And what happened was Kyle ended up blowing up. His engine blew up. But before that, him and Christopher were trading the lead back and forth. They had caught lap traffic, and they were slicing and dicing and going through there. And man, it doesn't get better than that. That was awesome.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I totally forgot it was on. I actually had the channel, and a buddy even reminded me like to watch it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to. Just completely forgot about it.
Yeah, and after the race here, I think it was today actually, iRacing put up a nice video. Congratulations, Christopher Bell, on the Chili Bowl win. And really nice looking video. It's just a short one, 24 seconds, but they splicing together like real life shots with iRacing shots, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference. And it's one of those kind of videos. Really cool.
Those are always interesting to watch, especially when people are like, "Oh, iRacing, it's just a game, da 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 da," and you show them like, "Nah, there are guys that do this."
Well, and what do you guys think about now that the Chili Bowl's over and iRacing was a big presence there? I mean, they were on the two most popular cars, and one of those cars ended up winning. I mean, did we get some subscribers to iRacing because of this sponsorship? I probably would think so. I bet you a lot of people might have, seen or heard about iRacing for the first time this last week.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead, Chris.
there'll probably be a good increase in new subscribers, and then probably taper off. But yeah, there'll definitely be new people coming on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, not only did they have a big presence, like on the track, but just at the event itself. I mean, they had all the simulators there and set up with VR, and so anybody interested, just to hey, what's this all about? Um, yeah, of course they're gonna grab a few new subscribers.
Yeah.
I just hope they understand to please get a wheel and not race with a keyboard, mouse, or joystick.
Well, and they're probably getting a good bang for their buck. I mean, if they wanted to try to do that in NASCAR, they would have to spend a ton more money, but at a dirt race like that, it's probably, affordable. I'm going to tie into this next topic because it's kind of the same, along the same line here. Steve Reese from iRacing, he went to the Chili Bowl, and it wasn't for fun. He was there to work, guys, and he actually posted about it. I'm going to read what he wrote here. I got to talk to a lot of pro guys over the past few days at the Chili Bowl, many of whom participated in the development. I'd like to say that was the main thing I got from them. They all seemingly really liked the car, but agreed that it wheelied too easily for the relatively large tracks we have in the sim. Some said they liked it that way, but most agreed that it could stand to be toned down for realism. I'm going to adjust the weight distribution a bit for the patch that's coming in the next few days and get that dialed back a bit. It really doesn't take much weight distribution change to make a big change in the wheelie department. So, yeah, he's out there, in the pits, talking to the drivers, getting feedback, and then he's making changes in the sim, accordingly. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's also requires probably very good note taking.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if you really want to have a good look at the racing, the Chili Bowl's the place to do it. I mean, it's just it's such a huge event. I mean, you got lots of stuff to look at and lots of stuff to check out. So,
Yep. One more tidbit Steve posted was, hey, if you hit the F8 key, you have in-car adjustments for this car. You can actually adjust the rebound at each corner of the car from the cockpit. So I wasn't aware of that, but apparently you have those options. All right, Tony?
yeah, and new patch, season 1, patch 1 was rolled out today, and well, they did quite a bit of work. Not all quite a list here. I'll go through just a few of them. Um, they fixed a bug that would cause the simulator to crash when transitioning from one session to another while remaining in sim, like going from open practice server to the race server. I never experienced that, but uh, they did some updating to the HTC Vive stuff. So because they're having the head tracking fails, hopefully that's all fixed up. And
Yeah, the one that got me, jumped out at me was Rallycross. The car-to-car contact incident point threshold has been reduced.
yeah, so I guess gonna have to be a little bit more careful on the track is how I'm taking it. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're going to get more of an impact to your SR, right?
Yeah. So that fix has been made for the dirt midget that you were just talking about, Mike. The front to rear weight distribution's been adjusted. So hopefully it'll keep that front end down a little better. And the other big one, a lot of people were looking for, was the dirt street stock. Numerous physics updates have been made to provide a more realistic driving experience for the rookie class dirt stock car, including new aerodynamic maps, engine updates to reduce power and rev limit. The tire compound has been updated, and garage ride height ranges have been adjusted to prevent rear tires from clipping through bodywork. So they did quite a bit of work on that car.
Yeah,
They
and I
said they were
ran some laps in this car a few minutes ago before the podcast. David, you did as well. Tell me what you think. This is like a whole different car. I mean, not in any way does it resemble the old car.
No, it doesn't. And like, I did some practice laps with it, and then jumped in a race with a buddy of mine, and we ran the whole thing. Unfortunately, we got wrecked out being lap traffic. I just couldn't hold it and got spun. But I mean, other than that, the car drives great. It's funny though. Everybody in my split was complaining. They're like, they slowed this car way down. They need to bring it back to where it was. I'm very happy with the changes. It definitely helped.
It's a rookie car, okay? And it needs to drive like a rookie car, and that's what they did. The car before was way too hard to drive. You couldn't drive it down the straightaway straight. This car, I couldn't spin it out if I tried. I was going, first time in it, I ran some laps. I'm going around the track fine. I didn't spin out, not even once. In the old car, I would have spun out already, just doing laps. And so it's way different. There's a lot less power. It's a much more stable car. I'm excited to race it. I think this is exactly what I've been waiting for this car. I'm really glad they got it, changed. Now, I didn't have time to put in notes because this has just happened in in the last few hours. But there is some posts in the forums about people complaining about this car already, and it's only been out a little bit. And but I don't know. I think it was a good move.
Like I said, we had guys in my split that were complaining. Like they were complaining. They're like, man, with the old car, I was running 16 somethings, and now they slowed it all down. I can only run 17s. This is crap. Da 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 da. I'm just like, it's a rookie car, guys.
Yeah. So I intend to run some of these races, and I'm going to kind of work my way up proper through the dirt street oval stuff.
Start tonight, Mike. You got no excuse. Get in the car.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, Mike. I've been waiting for these changes to happen because, like you, I put a ton of practice time on this car, and I could not put, uh, put enough
You'll
laps
like it.
together. So yeah, this is good. This is real good, and it's slowed down too. So that's even better for schmucks like me on there.
Yeah, Tony. They were at Lanier this week. Like, I went out, ran about 10 decent laps. Hell, I even got as fast as a 17.2 in practice and couldn't match it in qualifying. But I had fun. It's definitely a rookie car now, and you shouldn't have any issues.
Yeah, so that was the big thing in the build. I think the other big thing was some support for those Vive virtual reality guys who run the HTC Vive. They got some fixes apparently to help those guys out. So hopefully that works.
I'd
All
love
right.
to try virtual reality once.
I think I'd get sick, but I can't even go on a roller coaster anymore. When I was young, I used to be able to do roller coasters and all that. And as I've gotten older, my vertigo or something has kicked in, and I just can't do them anymore. All right, let's get into the next topic. Talking about this is a forum post by Steve Reese. Well, first it was actually by Kent Wetherell, and he asked the question about tire wear on the dirt oval. Any word on when the tire wear is going to be implemented for dirt cars? And Steve Reese did post up, it's still on the radar, hoping to get it sorted out as we work through the Rallycross development. Now that was a long time ago. Well, he recently updated and put really not much to update on, I'm afraid. We've experimented a bit, but there's still some more work to be done before it works correctly. It will not be done for season 2. So that's the update is don't expect it in the next build as far as dirt oval tire wear. That's still certainly a work in progress. All right, Tony, you get the big topic of the week.
Well, yeah, looking at the topic list here, it looks like a bunch of stuff that we've already covered. Now, I did notice at the bottom a little new stuff. A question was somebody had asked Tony Gardner about the X Audio 2 sound engine, if it was still in development, and can we have some news about it? And he popped on the forums and said, yes, it's still in the works. Now, Mike, I apologize. I got no idea what that means. Maybe you can help me out here.
Oh, X Audio 2 is a sound engine. A lot of games used to produce sounds and whatnot. And iRacing is still in the middle of implementing it. That was one of the little tidbits, but the big story here, Tony, was Tony Gardner announcing basically the 2018 plans and long-term plans for iRacing. And they're going to, and so I'm going to just run through a little bullet point list here. This is a huge forum post he wrote out, but we're not going to read it. First, new graphical and physical damage model. Second, dynamic time of day, moving clouds, day to night transitions. 3, new tire model version. Yes, a new tire model is coming. A new interface and user experience inside and out of the sim. And here's the big one, guys. AI, artificial cars, are coming to iRacing.
Wow, did I ever biff that one? I know we were, we got into a good conversation about this last night, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is old news, but no, this is huge, and it is new.
AI, I mean, that's always been the differentiating thing about iRacing is you're always racing a real human being. Well, apparently they're going to introduce AI. Uh, what is your first impression? Is this good or bad?
My first impression is, you know what, this is a good thing. It's just a, I've seen a lot of comments and a lot of people are really negative on it, but I mean, this is just one more thing for us to have at our disposal. And I mean, for someone like me, practicing on a track on an empty track does me good for only so far. I need to get into that traffic and in a race type experience. I really gain a lot from that, and not having to worry about wrecking other guys and ruining their races. If I have AI out there, I can smash them all day and nobody cares. So on that, for that point, I think it's really, really good.
Yeah. And we'll talk more about the UI here later in the show, as all of them, there were many, many forum posts and discussions about AI, and we'll kind of go through those a little bit later. The other thing he announced is a complete redo of an oval track. He doesn't say which one, though, but that's the news. He also talks about the new beta UI, and he kind of gives some perspective. He says, keep in mind the new beta UI still has a long way to go, and that you're also used to the old way. The plan is to someday switch to the new UI as the primary, with the old website backing it up. Sort of reverse of what it is now. Someday, long term, you probably will not access the racing at all from the now existing old site, although there will always be probably some type of site connected around the new UI for forums and other things. So he's kind of confirming the website will still be there in some way, shape, or fashion.
Yeah, but you can definitely tell that they don't care about the website anymore because, like, the iRacers doesn't work half the time. Just there's a lot of stuff on the site that they should fix, but they're not because they're making sure the new UI is where people should go.
Yep. All right, let's jump into the next topic. We'll talk more about AI later. The 2018 Road to Pro schedule has been posted by Tyler Hudson on the forums. If you search that 2018 Road to Pro schedule, you'll find it. And boy, I don't think there's any surprises here, guys. What do you think of the schedule?
I mean, it follows the real life schedule for the most part.
Yeah, the truck schedule, right? Now remember, this is trucks. This is the one that runs every other Tuesday night opposite the Peak Series.
Ooh, that Eldora, man, I'm gonna need practice for that. Ooh.
Yeah, Eldora's on the schedule.
That's
It,
the dirt race.
this is a Class A series, guys. You cannot have a B or a C. And if your SR slips, guess what? You're not running.
I'm really
Yeah,
kind of digging this new format. I think I like it. Yeah.
I still wish it was the A car. I'm still hung up on the fact that it's trucks, but I guess I don't have much choice, especially when NASCAR seems to be pulling the strings here.
Well, that's because they really want you to do it in the pipeline, like how NASCAR does it. You work your way
Yeah.
through the trucks, you're good enough, then you go to the Xfinity car, you're good enough, and then you're the best in the best with the A car.
Yeah. Tyler did mention a further note about the schedule. You know, it is built around the Peak Series, so there may be weeks where the series is racing back to back, or the race the week after a new build, and a series has been built around it. So it's most of the time every other Tuesday, but there are off weeks and stuff because of week 13 and what's going on with peak and that kind of thing. So it's not an exact science, but it looks like a good schedule.
Well, we'll see how it goes, and can't wait to start running it.
Okay, so Tony, let's start going through the AI threads. What's the first one?
Well, the first one is a post talking about the possibility of going to console at some point, and with the new um,
AI.
I can't freaking the new UI, the styling and the way they've got it set up would actually translate really well onto a console. There might be a little bit there, um, but you know why limit it to just PC? I mean, I don't know how well you could translate going from, I don't think you would see racing online between PC and console, um, but separately, um, yeah, absolutely, why not?
Yeah,
Um,
it would open up the membership, and we could potentially get more and more content if the content the members grow.
yeah, the only problem is, guys, is for example, like I have the Xbox. The Xbox, for example, only has 8 gigs of RAM. We've had 16 gigs of RAM in PCs now for the better part of 7 years. So that's the main thing with the consoles. They don't keep up enough with modern PCs. Like you can go get 32 gigs of RAM in your PC right now, and it's not much of an issue. The cost to do that in a console is just astronomical.
You can't just port this game over from PC to console. It's not that simple. Like you said, you'd have to dumb it down so the consoles can handle it. But I like what Chris says. It would drive membership. Maybe there would be, the console version is kind of, the people that race with joysticks. And boy, if they like it, they can get serious and move to PC and to get even a better experience. The one we have. I don't know. This is certainly a good theory. Talking about the big picture. Why is iRacing doing AI? To me, and we talked about this, Tony. You mentioned it. We talked about this yesterday a bit. What I'm thinking is this is all driven by NASCAR. NASCAR wants AI because they want iRacing to be the console version of NASCAR as well. Why not?
Well, to add to that, I mean, if NASCAR is going to put their name on something, they want to get it to the broadest audience, and that part only makes sense. So like they're bringing NASCAR Heat. I believe it was Heat simulators like trackside. Well, if we had a console version, you could bring iRacing trackside. Just make
Yeah.
it pure iRacing. Why not, right?
Well, actually, Tony, they're going to be doing both. They're going to be bringing simulators of both to the
Right.
track. One of heat, so for the casual people that don't want the intricacies of how difficult it is to run a stock car, and then for the hardcore people, they'll have the iRacing setup.
But why can't iRacing do that? You have the console version, so if you don't want the full out simulation, I mean, the simulation on a console made by iRacing is still going to be, leaps and bounds above what Heat can put out. They just have the history. They're going to be able to do a much better job, but it'll still be a little bit more relaxed, for the console type gamer, right?
Yeah, you got to remember who we're dealing with. David Kamer, the founder of iRacing, he's built all the best historical sim games out there for console, like Grand Prix Legends and so forth. So it's not like he hasn't done it before. Here's the other thing. Some people started talking about, guys. We have telemetry. We have data on how people drive. Can iRacing take that telemetry on a particular driver, let's say Dale Earnhardt Jr., and turn it into an AI? And could you go and host a race and say, I want to race Dale Earnhardt Jr., Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, and Ray Alfala? And you click on some check boxes, and they're simulated drivers in your little race when you're racing AI. It's
Yeah.
certainly possible.
Yes, Mike, you can totally do that right now on console. Microsoft for Forza 7 has a thing called Drivatars. So when you run, they collect data on how you run. So when your Drivatar gets put into somebody else's race, they race just like you. Now, if you're a maniac and can't drive to save your life and hit everybody on the track, your Drivatar is going to race just like that. So that's not just possible, that's actually very doable.
Okay, so I'm going to take it one step further. A few weeks ago, Adam Stern Twittered, and he's a NASCAR business reporter kind of person. There's a rumor out there that NASCAR wants to have a simulation kind of thing where people can race on a simulator during the real NASCAR race against the real NASCAR drivers on their computer. Somehow the data from the actual racetrack of their positioning is transmitted to the sim, is thus transmitted down to you, and it's like you're in the race with those guys, like but virtually. And so that's the long-term goal. Now that was a rumor that came out, and then all of a sudden, iRacing announces AI, okay, and then all of a sudden, NASCAR just last week decided, oh, we're going to have iRacing at the track every week this year. It's all too much coincidence, guys. This is what's going on. It's what I think.
Well, on top of that too, there's a series. Formula One's the top open wheel series over in Europe. Well, they have a much smaller series called Formula E, which is where they run nothing but electric cars. They're starting to do things where you can jump in the race somehow, like what you're talking about, Mike.
Yeah.
That's already a thing. So
Yeah.
iRacing is looking at all this stuff and going, okay, how do we do this for ourselves and make it quick, painless, and efficient?
Yep. Another opinion put in the forums, Ray Alfala actually says, I love the idea of having AI. Let's put up a server with 30 AI cars and 10 humans. Everyone starts in the back and see how fast you can get to the front. Sounds like fun.
Also, a good way to learn how to pass people on the track.
Another positive, and it was a post that I'd read, that we've got all these cars and all these tracks. Well, the participation factor in some of those is just so low. If you have AI, now you can go and race those combinations that you want to race, and well, hell, you can do it anytime you want.
Yeah, there was another thread. What AI will you race first when it comes out? And people are putting in, oh, I would race car X on track Y. Why? Because that never goes official, like you said, or there's never participation. But with AI, you can make participation,
Yeah, I mean, especially, like, for example, I started iRacing in 2011. iRacing has a very large learning curve and barrier to entry because a lot of people are used to what's on consoles, and you're like, okay, you barely touch the gas and you spin out, and it gets very frustrating. With AI, you could program it to really, watching videos of people on the track and everything is one thing, but learning to follow an AI and learn the intricacies that way, that would really help people out and make the barrier to entry a lot less.
It's got to be good, though. I mean, they got to do it right. It's got to be good. It can't be clunky, or it's just not going to work. There's another thread, AI feature request, already 4 pages long, where people are putting in their ideas of what iRacing should do, specifically with iRacing, with the AI stuff. Like, let's allow the ability to put whatever paint jobs we want on them, some kind of trading paints functionality, and stuff like that. I mean, there's a million feature requests in this thread already.
Yeah, but that might slow down the game a little bit, the sim a little bit there too. Doing all that, adding paints, doing that much in-depth stuff into the, folders and stuff might make it sluggish a little bit, I would think. Maybe not. Maybe it's just nothing more different than the way it's running now, though.
Yeah. There was even a thread, about are you for or against AI in iRacing? And boy, lots of discussion there. 13 pages on a thread that says who is against AI. And some people are like, this is against what iRacing was founded on, and that kind of thing. And I don't know.
Wasn't iRacing founded on making money and getting their brand out there?
I don't even think they were trying to make money. I think they were just trying to make a nice sim.
It's only gonna make this better. So it also can make us better if we're chasing around faster cars. We'll eventually get better too.
Yeah, the poll results are 579 votes. 62% said they are for AI in the service and 38% against. So looks like people are liking it.
Yeah, I definitely voted for the AI. I just, sure there's a few negatives, but the pros far outweigh the cons in my view.
I like the idea of maybe it can be field fillers. You don't get enough people to round out a field to the max number. Well, why not just drop some AI on the back of the grid? It's got to be good, though, if you're going to do that with official racing. All right, let's get the next topic. My favorite series, NIS. Tyler announced the schedule, and he published it on the forum. It's called 2018 NIS Schedule, and not a lot of surprises. It follows the NASCAR Cup schedule, obviously. But the big topic was how many races are full-length races? Well, guess what, guys? It's 4. We're down to 4 now.
Okay.
And apparently one of them is not the Charlotte 600. And that would be the first time ever we haven't had a Charlotte 600. That was not one of the 4. They actually picked Bristol Spring Race to be full distance. So it was Daytona, what was it, Indy, Bristol, and Homestead.
Yeah, I saw that they nixed the Charlotte race, and I was a little bummed out about that. I ran that last year, and oh boy, is it long and stuff. But and it's just fun. I mean, you make it through that, and it's like, holy cow! I totally accomplished that. Personally, I wasn't too thrilled at seeing the Bristol race full length because I'm terrible with the short tracks, so I was not looking forward to that.
Well, after some heavy discussions, Tyler posted yesterday that based on the feedback in the forum post, he has submitted a revised version for making the Charlotte race 400 laps and the Spring Bristol race 250. So it sounds like he's asked NASCAR to make an adjustment there.
Yeah, I mean it's still not the full length Charlotte race, but it's much better, and I kind of like they knocked that Bristol race down a little.
I am happy as can be that there's only 4. I mean, it used to be like 8 or 10 at one point, and it was just nonsense.
Whoa.
4 is right. That's a good number.
I don't know, Mike. I'm mad that Talladega ain't the full 188 laps. That was fun as hell last year. I got third and fourth in both Talladega races I ran. I needed that.
Well, as you can see in this post, though, you ask 100 people what they want, you're going to get 100 different answers, literally.
Oh, I know.
Now, one that I'm kind of surprised they didn't do Now I did see some good arguments, but a lot of people want Darlington, and I was kind of surprised they didn't go that route this year. But I did see a lot of good arguments to why they wouldn't want to take that one full length.
Yeah. I'm pleased with the schedule. I'm pleased. I didn't really. I mean, I'm glad that he's resubmitted for this Coke 600, and we can get that back because that is our longest race of the year, and I'd hate for that just to go away. We've been doing it for years.
I've
Yeah, like
never
that's an
done
awesome
one.
race.
That's 4.5 hours or something of driving.
Something like that.
So, Chris, you haven't run a 600 yet?
No, I've only ran the Indy once, and I made it to turn 3 on the first lap, and that was it.
You didn't get the whole 500 miles? No.
Nope. Bad
He
luck.
he didn't even make it 2 miles.
No, I have very, very bad luck in the oval cars.
All right, Tony, what's next?
iRacing threw up a tweet. And hello again. If you haven't tried it yet, Ghost Racing is a great way to practice your skills and see how you match up against competition. And 100% absolutely, what a great thing to have to be able to do on this. I use it quite regularly. Not so much to run with, try and run with the big guys, but even just getting some practice laps in and just seeing how I stack up against my competition in my splits.
Yeah, like you said before, when you're by yourself on the track, there's only so much you can learn. You got to be around other cars, and this is a great way to do it. Is ghosting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even times where we've been racing as a team, or if I couldn't get there for the start of the race, I could still jump in with you guys and race with you guys. You guys just can't see me.
Yeah, pretty cool that iRacing is promoting this and putting out little short videos about how to ghost. They literally show you where to click to get into a ghost session. So they're trying to teach the new people, hey, don't forget that we have this. And I think people do forget.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's a wonderful tool, wonderful tool.
Okay, next topic. Somebody put up in the forums regarding the endurance racing here. There needs to be a sticky on how to run a team endurance race. Anybody have trouble finding information? And somebody posted up a link to a PDF that iRacing had put together at some point, a 21-page PDF about team racing. I think it's when team racing first came out. But it literally gives you detailed instructions, guys, about how to create a team for endurance racing, the specifics of how to, join an endurance race that is, already started or whatever. What the rules are as far as share, how much time you have to be in a car to have an equal share, so to speak. And I know, David, you had a lot of questions in the last few weeks as you were preparing our team for the 24-hour race, and this probably would have been helpful for you, huh?
Well, me and Will figured it out through a lot of trial and error. That's why on the Facebook Messenger I sent that picture that said, "All right, guys, when you go to log in, it's going to be a little different. It looks like this, and you got to look for the Tifosi Endurance Racing. If you accidentally join as another team, we're screwed."
Yeah, so check that out. You can search the forums how to run special events, and you can find that link. Pretty good information. I wonder why it's not out visible for people to use. I mean, we had to have somebody post some obscure link to be able to get to this, but all right, Tony, what do you got next?
Yeah, a Twitter post from Matt DiBenedetto. And I butcher his name every time I try and say it. Just a quick post to him playing around in GRC. Call me Ken Blogs, just an really nice, huge, long drift through one of the paved corners. Just he's having fun. It's just a neat little video.
Yeah, it's pretty cool when you see these real Cup stars, having fun just like we do, drifting these cars around corners and stuff.
Yeah, sideways is fun.
Yeah, that car is a blast. I really have had fun with GRC. Had a couple second places this week, almost some wins. All right, next topic. Doug Hunt Jr., staff member at iRacing, posted up regarding endurance races. We're making a change to the field size of all special events going forward. Instead of 60 cars per split, we're going to do 55 cars per split. This is to assist broadcasters who have been experiencing issues while trying to spectate and broadcast 60 car fields. So, does it matter that we have 60 or 55?
They already made that change, Mike. I did the roar before the 24, and we had 55 car fields.
So that's what we'll have Saturday?
Yep, that's exactly what we'll have Saturday. Unfortunately, we will not have the mix of cars that I was expecting. I mean, I know we're running the Ferrari GT3, but it sounds like we're going to be like one or two in the entire field of nothing but Mercs. But people have been complaining about that. But it all comes down to you and the car. If you're all within 0.2 of a second each other, everybody talks about this stuff being broken. It's not broken. All the cars are within 0.2 of a second of each other. Where the Merc has an advantage is on the straightaways. Catch back up and pass them in the tight areas, because that's where the Ferrari has the advantage, especially at Daytona.
Yep. All right, we're running out of time. I think we have enough to get through hardware, software. Tony, what do you got first?
Well, I believe it was last week we were talking about this Asus bezel-free kit that makes your monitor edges disappear. They didn't really go into too much detail about it, but they posted up a video on YouTube showing you what it looks like, and it's there's no wires, there's no batteries, there's no power needed. It's simply um, just a piece that refracts the light and helps the light pass through the bezels. You don't see them in it. Seeing the video, like, damn, that looks pretty friggin' cool. I know I was kind of down on it when I talked about it the last time, but seeing it in action and seeing what it actually is, it's super easy. You just pull it on, pull it off, no matter what, you're good. Um, Now that I'm gonna go for memory here, I think they said they're only good for, uh, I believe 20 and 22 inches. But 24 or yeah, the bigger monitors, 27, 32-inch monitors, they're gonna be coming out with them soon anyhow. But these things look really neat now.
Oh, yeah. The video speaks everything. Yeah, last week we only saw a picture. But once you see the video, wow, it's impressive. I mean, visually, you cannot see the bezels. I mean, you see a little line there, but that's it. And like you said, it just clips on. I mean, pretty cool. And if you have triples, you might be thinking about this. I'd like to see how the pricing shakes out.
I know that made me watching the video now. I'm very, very interested in it because that's my biggest thing I hate is seeing the bezel edges on my monitors.
It looks like it's going to be inexpensive. Like you said, there's no wires, there's no electronics. It's literally like a plastic prism, with clips on the edge.
Yeah. The only thing is it only works with this Asus monitor. So if you have a
Well,
different
they said,
monitor,
well, if you listen to it, they actually said it'll work with any kind of monitors as long as they're the standard sizes.
okay, so
Yeah,
like 27-inch.
no, they don't have those sizes yet. It's just as long as you got like the smaller bezels on your monitor, you'll be fine. They're coming out with like the 27 and 32 inch I'm sure they're going to pump them out quite shortly, but they're not available as of yet, just for the smaller monitors.
Okay.
Yeah, now this is really cool. I've only got 2 monitors at the moment. Um, Now for iRacing, like I said last time, and I'm sticking to it. I don't even really notice the bezels once I get racing, but for other things that I do, uh, this thing would be awesome because a lot of the times I'm staring right at my bezel and it gets fairly annoying.
Yeah. David Tucker posted up in the post, hey, you want to turn off bezel correction if you use this. Because remember, we do have bezel correction in the sim, and you'd probably have to adjust it if you bought these things. He didn't sound like David was a fan. I'll tell you what he wrote. He said, this works, but the area under the lens will be distorted horizontally. That may be worse than having the bezel. And because the light is stretched over more area, and from losses in the optics, it is darker at the bezel. So it doesn't sound like he's a fan, but I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan.
I mean,
I just,
sorry, go ahead, Chris.
I was gonna say, I just wonder, people who suffer from motion sickness, if that will trigger it though.
It's going to look blurry in that area, but
But that's what I was gonna say. It's like, how often are you staring directly at that spot? You know what I mean?
it's kind of peripheral vision kind of thing, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you'll glance over at your left, or you'll glance over to your right to catch your mirrors and your sides of your cars. I don't see, I'm gonna stare right at where that bezel is the entire race. I just don't see people doing that.
No, but maybe somebody's susceptible to easy motion sickness, and that distortion right there in the peripheral might could be enough to trigger a sickness or whatever.
Yeah. All right, next topic. At CES in Vegas, NVIDIA announced their large format gaming displays. Brand new 65-inch G-Sync display, guys. So 65-inch computer monitor. Okay, this is not a TV. This is a gaming monitor. Wow, what do you guys think about racing on that?
Way too much real estate. Because
Too much.
yeah, like a buddy of mine, he had a 55-inch TV. I know it wasn't a gaming monitor, but like he used to play World of Warcraft on it, and the amount of space that he would have to scroll compared to somebody with a regular 32-inch, like it's the bigger the TV, the more you got to scroll and move. So it actually can be quite a hindrance on bigger TVs, especially with computers. So. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I don't
looks
know.
great.
Yeah, I don't think this is suited for iRacing. It might be fun for like Call of Duty and stuff, but
And that's what they're kind of showing, like first person type running around shooting stuff, and But I mean, it may be a gaming monitor, but I mean, it looks like just another TV. That's all.
It looks expensive.
oh yeah, they don't say a price.
Yeah, if they didn't say a price, you probably can't afford it right now.
Right. So if you ask the price, you probably can't afford it.
How many
Pretty much.
kidneys do you have?
Not enough.
I don't know, Tony. Ain't you up to 4 now, bro?
Well, if that's the case, I guess I can get me one of them big ass gaming monitors.
Sell both your kidneys, then you can get the whole. What is it? The $55,000 all motion rig for iRacing. That's what you need, Tony.
Okay, what's next, Tony?
One of our listeners reached out to us, giving us a little correction from what we were talking about last week with the whole Control Shift Alt and V. We were saying that it converted the replay file into a video file, but apparently it's just a screen recorder built into the sim, kind of the same as using OBS or Fraps. And that was Seth Whitaker that pointed that out to us. And well, thanks, Seth, because I don't really, I don't do any video stuff, but if I do, now I know.
So that's the record button, is what he's saying, right? That's how you start the recording.
Well, couldn't even tell you.
That's what
Yeah,
it
he
sounds
says
like
it's a
it's saying.
screen recorder. So yeah, it's just I think semantics. I think we were saying if you push that button, it'll convert. But what it really does is it actually starts recording a file into the video folder, and then you can take that video file and upload it to YouTube or whatever.
Okay, so yeah, you'd still have to go into the app, any file, and select the
Right.
type of file that you want it to go into, but that's how you get it to start recording. Okay, well that's cool.
Yeah. All right, next topic. We're going to skip that one. That we already covered that, so I'll jump to the next one. And this is pretty big, guys. Bitcoin and cybercurrency has taken off recently, and guess what? That's affected the price of video cards for computers, because that's how these bit miners do it. Is they buy video graphic cards and they do the cryptocurrency calculations through the graphics card, is the way I understand it. So because these bit miners are buying up all the GPUs out on the market, the price has gone up. And so there's been a lot of stories on Facebook and the forums about, boy, if you want a video card, it's really a bad time to get one.
It seems like this happens every couple of years, though, because I remember when I bought my 760, like a few months later, the price started going up because crypto mining became popular.
Yep.
Which is funny because I was reading an article the other day that pretty much said crypto mining, there's no money in it, so you might not even start because you have to get into these, large farms with other people to make anything.
Well, that's the thing. Apparently, people are buying these up and creating farms. I mean, this is proof. If the price goes up, that means the demand has gone up as well. There's another article I found on tweaktown.com where they're quoting pricing. The price of these cards that have gone up. For example, the GTX 1080 Ti now cost up to $1,600. The RX Vega 64, $2,100. And
Wow.
Ridiculous money. That is, I couldn't know.
yeah, it's insane right now. So it's a real bad time to be buying a graphics card for your iRacing computer because of these price increases. All right, Tony, final topic.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure if I fully understand this one, but it was posted up on the forums, and I am really gonna butcher this name, and I apologize. Isvan Ballo, but he's got a camera package with a fully cut 4 to 5 TV style camera groups. I'm Mike, you're gonna have to help me out on this one. I believe it's for if you're uh, trying to go for like YouTube videos and that
Yeah,
sort of thing.
broadcasting people would use this, YouTube videos, that kind of thing. He has a website at the bottom of the post that you can click, and there you have the option of actually downloading the cameras, and you can install this right into iRacing and take advantage of these different camera views that this guy has created. And by the video that he posted as a preview, they look pretty dang good. I mean, I was kind of surprised by the quality of some of the shots he was getting, and they're certainly not shots that you're used to seeing. These are some interesting angles for sure.
That
So,
can make broadcasting a lot better for iRacing.
yeah, kind of these pan shots, and you know how they have the cables that run down the side of the track and the camera moves. I mean, stuff that looks like that. So you know how when you're watching a race and you have the different cameras, there's like 10 to choose from. Well, what this guy does is he gives you more to choose from, basically. And he said they're specific for NASCAR. He's
User
got
entered your
a pretty
channel.
neat little package there. So thanks to Isfan Balo. Good getting his name right there, Tony. You can search this in the forum under track cams for gourmets. So I'm not real big on that. I don't see a need for me to use this, but yeah, if you're broadcasting, I'd definitely check this out.
Oh heck yeah! I was looking at some of those. And you could some of those broadcasters could bring like the crank it up that Fox does for NASCAR. I
Yep.
absolutely love that. I mean, I crank it up when that happens.
All right, pretty cool. Check that out. Let's get into final thoughts. David Flowers, what do you got?
Just doing final touches for the 24 Hours of Daytona. I got first stint, and I'm gonna try to keep it clean to be able to handle the car off to somebody else. That's the goal.
All right, good luck with that. And this week we did announce that David Flowers has taken on an administrative role here at Tifosi Racing. So, congrats, David, for joining me as the second admin on this team. You certainly deserve it. You do a lot of work about keeping this team going. So, thank you very much.
No problem, Mike.
Congrats there, David.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, Tony Groves, final thoughts.
Oh well, I won't be racing with you guys in the 24 hours of Daytona, but I will be rooting you on, and I wish you guys all the best of luck. I'll sneak on for a time or two to watch and I hope you guys do really well. Um, aside from that, I am struggling like crazy hard with this A car. Maybe it's just the shorter tracks that I'm struggling with. We'll see. Looking forward to getting out on a mile and a half and seeing how I can fare out there. But I still stay positive. I can't wait for this NIS season to start. This off season. Like I said last week, I've had enough. I want to get back into it.
We're getting close. All right, Chris Perez, thanks for joining us. You're certainly welcome anytime. And what are your final thoughts?
I'd just like to thank you and David and Tony for having me on tonight, and just curious. I might participate in this Road to Pro on the truck the side. I like the trucks. I like the balance of those. I understand them. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's going to be high participation, I think. And so anytime there's a lot of drivers, it's going to be good racing. So, yeah, I encourage everybody to get involved with the Road to Pro Truck Series that's coming up here. All right, thanks, Chris. My final thoughts, boy, AI, man. I was telling Tony, man, this came out of the blue. I mean, I don't think we had any inkling that this was on the radar in any way whatsoever. But like I talked about before, it all makes sense if you look at the big picture. How NASCAR is getting more involved in what we're doing, how, they want things a certain way, how this could lead to racing the real NASCAR stars on track in a simulator at the real race at the same time the real race is going on. Is that where they're going? Well, it certainly looks like it. So it's never a better time to be involved in iRacing with all the new stuff that they've had. And now that Tony Gardner has come out and announced all these new plans, especially the AI thing, certainly exciting times for iRacing in the near future. Excited for Richmond tonight. We'll see how I do. I'm kind of going in that without any practice. And I hope I have a car when I come in about the 13th hour of the race on Saturday to actually run. So, and I hope I'm not the one who dumps it. That's always the thing in the 24-hour races is don't be the guy who wrecks,
Yeah,
Just,
Mike. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
just be smooth and hit your marks. Just, get through it.
And watch out for the prototypes because they come out of nowhere. If you have to take a less optimal line to the bus stop for them to pass you, do it.
Yeah. All right, and with that, we'll see you later.
Yep, thanks, Mike.
Thank you for listening to the iRacers Lounge podcast. Make sure to go subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Google Play, Facebook, and Twitter. See you on the track.